Hello, welcome, and I am going to jump right in with some questions for you. Have you ever felt the pain of heartbreak? Have you wondered if love really lasts? Are you struggling in a relationship, or have you found yourself single? Again, if you're willing to look, you know that true love does exist. You know sex can stay hot. You know that love can last. And you know that the number one way to find and keep true love is to be the real and authentic you. I am Joanna Kennedy, a passion and intimacy expert, and I am excited to be here with you tonight. You can find out more about me at thepathofintimacy.com. And yes, I did actually have the privilege to teach kissing to Nick Cannon on America's Got Talent last year. I want to share a huge thank you with you for taking the time to join me. And it might surprise you, but if you take even one tidbit of information from this call tonight and apply it to your dating and relating life, it'll be a gift to all the men and women out there, especially the single ones. I promise. And it will change so much in your world too. So you're on the Enlightened Dating and Relating webinar, where I'm going to share my best heartbreak-proof secrets for finding, keeping, and enjoying love. And here's why I put this webinar together for you. I've watched too many relationships struggle. I've seen too many powerful, amazing women who can't find a guy, and they don't know that they're actually pushing him away. I've seen too many nice guys finish last, and it makes love way too disappointing, and it leads to way too much heartbreak and heartache. And it doesn't have to be that way. Love can last. Relationships can be happy and hot. So you're in the right place if you've been there, done that with love, and you're ready to actually have hot and happy instead of frustrating and confusing. If you're a woman who's ever wondered, where are all the strong men? Where's the guy that's really gonna meet me? Or if you're that great guy who wants to make women happy and you work your butt off to do it and you feel like it never happens, like it's never enough. If any of those sound like you at all, you're in the right place. Welcome. Here's what you're going to learn tonight. I'm going to share with you how to stop the cycle of failed relationships, why heartbreak happens, and how to stop it. I'm going to talk to you about how to be not just a master dater, but a master relator, so that you know how to create happiness, love, and pleasure in romance. We're going to talk about how to tap into the prerequisite for love that so often gets ignored, yet it's so absolutely necessary. And it becomes, when you don't do it, it becomes the number one destroyer of relationships. I'm going to talk to you about the 2 keys to being absolutely attractive, and then how to attract a partner, as well as a friend and a lover. And then we're going to talk about the number one thing you can do to increase the potential for a relationship to last. And we're going to talk about the Enlightened dating and relating system that puts all these pieces together. And then I'm going to tell you about an opportunity that I'm really excited about. Later on, I'm going to share with you how you can take a deep dive on this topic of dating and relating and really master both attracting and creating a relationship where the love runs deep and the passion stays hot. And since we're going to be spending some time together right now, I wanted to take a moment and tell you a little bit about me. Why I'm here speaking and sharing about love and sexuality, and why 15 years ago I would never have imagined it. I'm a product of the women's movement, a product of the 70s divorce movement. And having been a part of the first divorced family on the block, I learned a lot about relationship, or at least I thought I did. I learned what relationships were and what they weren't, and how men were, and whether you could trust them, and I I had a really warped sense of relationship. And then you put the whole women's movement thing on top of that, and I learned, oh, by the way, you can't depend on a man. They'll let you down. You've got to be strong. Prove that women are powerful. Yeah, we're powerful. And a lot of us are tired. Ladies, do you know what I'm talking about? That was the beginning. And so I did what every good woman who never wanted to depend on a man would do. I went and got an electrical engineering degree and an MBA, and I went to work in the oil and gas and high-tech industries. I was really, really successful. And I was really, really miserable. And while I was there, I married another electrical engineer who was Prince Charming. He was 6'3", blonde hair, blue-eyed, par golfer, valedictorian, concert pianist. You name it, he was it. And we were divorced 4 years later. And then it was relationship after relationship after relationship. And I started thinking the problems were all about the men. I was asking, where are all those good guys? Where are the men who will really go deep with me? And then I had the aha. Shit, it was never them, it was me. Thank God I found myself in a workshop where I got a huge wake-up call around one of those barriers to love that you'll hear me talk about. I sat there with my jaw on the floor for what felt like 4 hours as I realized that the same thing that was making me successful was what was making me miserable too. And I knew when I walked out of that workshop that my commitment to the world was to make sure that not another woman had to go through the pain I went through, to make sure that not another man had to go through what I put men through. And so it is why I do what I do. So let's jump in. What we're going to talk about, one of the foundations of what we're going to explore tonight is this cycle of relationship. And for some of us, you might call it the rinse and repeat cycle of breakups that too many great, seriously great men and women face. And so we date, whether we're online dating or we're socializing and getting asked out, and then we meet somebody and we start dating and we hang out and we have some juicy fun and we're enjoying this. So we turn it into a relationship. Will you be my girlfriend? Now, hopefully, hint, hint, you're doing that transition into relationship consciously. You're talking about it. Too many people don't. But now you're in a relationship. We've moved from dating to relating. And in relating, we're going to have some more fun. We're probably having some hot passion. And then things get real. We've got great passion, and we also have emotions. Our needs conflict. We have challenges. We get hurt. This is the reality of relating. And so in my conscious beginnings ritual that I teach my clients and program participants, I literally have people promise when they're getting into relationship, you will feel hurt in relationship. It's a reality. And if we accept that, then it's as if we no longer are going to be surprised by the disappointment. We know that it's part of the journey, and we know that it's part of the process. And the real question is, what do you do when hurt happens? Do you have the skills and the tools to navigate it? Otherwise, it's a setup for disappointment. And we go, uh-oh, what do we do now? But when we can navigate it, it brings us back to the hot and happy. But if we don't, we sit in the question. Do we break up? Do we stay together? And if we don't stay together, we end up back in that heartbreak and back to the online dating. So we don't have to go through that cycle. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We want you to know, I want you to know how to break the cycle of heartbreak so you can spend the time in the magic. And oh, by the way, some people go from hot and happy, they skip over the challenges and they just break it up because I don't want to get rejected, I don't want to get hurt. And we don't even ever take a chance to meet the reality of relationship. And I want to tell you a personal story here. I had something extraordinary happen. It was extraordinary and it was painful. Earlier this month, literally within 2 days of each other, my boyfriend and I met the deepest challenge that we've had in our relationship. One that brought us to the verge of ending. And we both sat together and came to the awareness of it wasn't about quitting. It was about staying in the relationship and going deep and navigating it. And what was so profound was 2 days later, we went to his parents' 50th wedding anniversary and celebrated it with 300 people. And listening to them speak about the ups and downs and the reality of being in relationship together for 50 years through the ups and the downs of life. And they had some serious downs in their lives. They had huge ups. But this was not a relationship that didn't meet with deep sadness and challenge. And yet they navigated it, and the strength of their relationship because of navigating that. It's an inspiration. It's what's possible. And so the real question is, for you, how do you find, keep, and enjoy love and relationship? And this is what we imagine it to be. We imagine that it's this simple and that it's not complicated. But this picture that you're looking at, it leaves a whole lot out. It sets up false expectations. And for those of you that watch the video series, you heard me talk about that being one of the biggest barriers to love. It's a setup for disappointment and hurt. Just like we were talking in the last slide, if we don't work through it, we have way too much heartache and heartbreak. And love can be great. So here's the key. The key point to pay attention to, and we're going to dive deeper into this on the next slide, is that there's real transition points in the dating and relating cycle. There's important moments that you have to pay attention to. And let me tell you, it's not just the proposal. There's several key important moments. So it's critical that you know where you are in this cycle of dating and relating and what's important to pay attention to, what's important to do. And so whenever I work with my clients, I make sure they know where they are in this cycle and that they set themselves up for success with the right steps, the right questions, the right conversations. You've got to know what makes love last. And then you've got to be courageous enough to do it. And the rewards are immense. But the truth is, like it or not, you have to tend to love if you want it to last. And I'm not talking about compromise. This is win-win. This is about both of you being extraordinarily happy together. So this is how it really works. And these stages that you're looking at here, these 5 stages, they form the foundation of the Enlightened dating and relating system that I use with my private clients and I teach in my academy. Just like any system, if you leave a piece out, the whole thing doesn't work. And then it's when you leave those things out that people get frustrated and they think about giving up. But the truth is, you were meant for love. We are love. And partnership is a core part of our lives. And so when a prospective client calls me and says, hey, I've done all the dating sites, I've read the books, I've tried this, I've tried that, but not enough active guys my age, women are never satisfied, sex always fizzles, they give me all these stories. But they're the symptoms of a deeper problem. And they're also really excuses that we use, the good ones are taken, to make ourselves feel better when our life isn't working. And so I want you to get back in your power. The problem is those men and women, they didn't put all the pieces together and they didn't put them together in the right order. They left parts out. They didn't use the system. And most importantly, they didn't have the prerequisites. They didn't set or clear the ground and set the foundation. You wouldn't build a house on top of tree roots and rocks. You wouldn't build the walls without pouring a solid foundation. So why do we do it with love? And we all do it. I've done it, believe me. But the thing is, we sabotage our hearts, these tender hearts. We sabotage the very thing that we've put so much time and energy and heart and spirit into. And so if you're here watching and listening, you could be at any one of these stages. And no matter where you are, make sure you listen closely here and find out which parts of the system you've left out, forgotten, didn't know about, or worse yet, you've ignored. So let's break it down. Let's start with this first component. And I want to say, I want to give you all the pieces and parts. And the truth is, I can't give you every piece of wisdom around this tonight. So what I want to do is walk you through the first steps for each of these blocks so that you can start implementing them. And so earlier, I promised to tell you the number one prerequisite for love, and the thing that is also the number one destroyer of relationships. And it's the first bullet you're looking at here right now, love you. And this is the one that, oh my God, we don't want to hear about. I remember when a guy in college broke up with me. Actually, he didn't break up with me. I wish he'd broken up with me because that would have meant that we were in a relationship. But he looked at me and he said, I would never go out with you. You can't love somebody else until you love yourself. And I was pissed. I so was into him and I was pissed and I was angry and I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's another one of those moments looking back years later. But even more importantly than my story, I came across an article a while back written by a marriage therapist who'd been a therapist for 40 years. And she wrote in profound words something that I'd been teaching for a while, but it was so clear. She said the number one destroyer in her 40 years of counseling couples, the number one destroyer of relationships was self-abandonment. Take that in. Self-abandonment. It's not about abandoning your partner. It's about abandoning you. And that's what destroys relationships. And there's at least 6 different ways that we self-abandon. And in order to have a healthy relationship, we have to pay attention to each one of them. It's important that you get real about these for you. So when I work with men and women, we break down your world. And that's what I invite you to do. And see where you're abandoning you and where that's damaging your relationship. Or even where it's blocking you from simply finding a date. So when you go through this process and you see how you're actually massively contributing to the resentment, the hurt, and the frustration you're experiencing, you'll know it has to change. And I know it's hard to hear that you're part of the cause. And here's the thing. Admitting it puts you back in the driver's seat. You're not waiting for somebody else to fix your love life. This is where you get your power back, where change not only becomes possible, it starts happening automatically. And if you're already in a relationship, this stage is just as critical. Both of you go back and look at it, together and individually. So, number one prerequisite, love you. And then after that, so many of us think we have space for a relationship. We've created the right environment for love, but we haven't. And so first, it starts with the inner space. And we're going to talk more about this in a couple of slides. But we've all heard about the baggage that we carry around. And that baggage from the past absolutely sabotages and reduces the love that you're able to experience right now. So you got to clear that inner space so there's space for love to really expand, to love and be loved. And then the truth is there's got to be space in your day, space in your home. And then this last one, be attractive and powerful. This is actually what makes you a magnet to the opposite sex, what keeps the spark alive once you're in relationship. And this point's so key that we're actually going to come back to it in more detail towards the end of the webinar. So that's stage 1. Now let's go to stage 2. Find it, connect. And so how do you find love? How do you find your one? You've got to socialize well, both online and in person. You need to find your confidence first to do that. Men, it's about standing tall. Women, it's about your magnetizing radiance. You got to know what you want and then show up, whether you're online or in person. Show up where you can find the one you want, or the ones that are like the ones you want. And then show up in a way that produces results, that moves you towards the relationship that you want to create. And then you got to flirt. Flirt and be flirted with. Court. And actually, a key here is to know when to court and when to be courted. It's to know when to call, when to kiss, when to text, when to wink, when to write. And in the flirting and courting, there's body language, there's signals. Learning how to read the signals. And this energy, the energy that shows up in that flirting and courting is so hot and sexy. And then you also, in this dating process, you want to get the energy of pursuing and being pursued, and who pays, and a myriad of other long lost but so rich, so alive, breathtaking, the romantic gestures. Another piece is you got to get clear on your objective for dating. My guess is that you're probably not in the dating for the experience of dating. You're not trying to be a serial dater. If you're like most of my clients, you're looking for a relationship. Sure, friends with benefits for a night or 3 can be great. But what if your heart and soul really wants a long-term partnership? How do you find it? And so in my academy and some of my other programs, I help men and women get really clear on that purpose, what they want, and then most importantly, eliminate the time-wasting distractions that get in the way. And then to make sure you don't settle for the better than nothing one. And so you can't be afraid to speak your vision. You have to express it. If you want to get married and have kids in the next 18 months, share it. Don't hide it because it might scare them away. If they don't want what you want, they're not your one. No matter how cute, smart, sexy, adventurous, great in bed they are, they're not your one. So the key is to be real. And that ups your chances of dating success dramatically. And no, it's not about an interview. And couples, for you that are listening, you need to put the flirting and courting back into your relationship. Talk about this stuff. And, I really love when I hear from a program participant, especially one that's been a little skeptical, come up and go, "Oh my God, this stuff works. I met this guy. He might be the one." And, okay. Oh yeah, we're different. For those of you that watch my video, you know this. But men and women, we do this differently. We think about it differently. We need different things in order for it to work. So we've got to understand that dynamic. Guys, if you've been frustrated, what you think will work is probably not what she really needs. And vice versa, ladies. We think about it differently and we need different things for this stage to work. All right. Now, you've dated successfully. And now you're moving into let's be boyfriend and girlfriend. Let's test it. Now, here's the thing that a lot of people forget about. This is actually the test it stage. If you're looking for a lifetime partnership, this is the stage where you wonder, are we a fit? Are you my one? Am I your one? And here's the other thing. If you're not, it's okay. Rejection is actually a blessing. The key is to know for yourself when to let go. Not staying too long, not leaving too soon. So that you are moving towards and creating and building the partnership, the love, the romance, the passion that you've been wanting. So the very first bullet here, I always recommend doing an intentional conscious beginnings ritual. And if you don't like the word ritual, It's the idea of an intentional conversation with very specific parts that set up the relationship for success. And then again, pulling back from the earlier slide, you've got to honor you, because if you don't, as you get into relationship, it's this idea that all of a sudden 6 months from now, I'm kind of being myself because I got tired of putting on the front. No, you got to be you and honor you from the beginning. And then I mentioned in the last slide, be attractive and powerful. This is the same thing that we're talking about in the bullets here. Walk, talk, stand, be present, be sexy, confident, happy. This is your masculine nature, your feminine nature. And it's the spark and it's the chemistry. So again, we're going to go into more depth into that towards the end. But you've got to be in that presence that makes you so attractive. And then intimacy. This is where we've probably navigated some level of intimacy, but this is where it goes deeper. This is where it gets really real. And we're talking about physical intimacy, emotional intimacy, spiritual intimacy. Into me, you see. We see into each other. We let each other see the real parts of us. And here's what's interesting. Please don't make this mistake. We'll say to a new partner, or we'll at least imagine it in our own head, I want you to love me for who I am. But then we sometimes, and sometimes it's unconscious, but I'm not going to show you who I am. You have to figure it out. And oh, while you're trying to figure it out, I'm going to hide these parts of me that I don't like. But I want you to love them too. Love me unconditionally, even though I don't. It's a setup for failure, and you've got to stop. And again, this stage, and you're going to hear this over and over, we're different. We've got to learn here the needs, the wants, desires that are different so that we can be successful here, so we have a chance for it to actually work. And, it's the idea that we'll imagine in our head, oh, they don't really care, they don't really love us, they don't really respect us. But the truth is they're expressing love in their own language. And we don't realize how loving they're actually being. And that language, there's a dictionary, we can translate it. You just got to learn how to translate it. And that will do so much to set you up for happiness and fun and pleasure together. Now, we moved through that relating phase, that test it phase. And whether you decide to get married or you decide that it's a lifetime partnership, you're in a long-term committed relationship now. And there's going to be waves of ups and downs, just like I mentioned with Mark's parents. And the question is, how do you handle those waves? So first and foremost, you got to make it a priority. Now, guys, I tell my clients and I tell the members of my programs, especially the women, that you're not always going to come first in a man's life. And that's the truth of it. And guys, even though she may not come first in all the things in your life, she has to feel important. And there are very specific ways you can make her feel important. Make her feel number one. Make her feel cherished and valued and turned on. And it's simple. Honestly, it's simple. It's not difficult. It's not time consuming. It's not expensive. And guys, you make it way too hard. So start listening, start learning and hearing what the women say. We think through our own mind and we almost don't believe the opposite sex when they tell us something. So start listening on a deeper level. And if you watched some of my videos that were out, you heard about conscious communication and how men and women do it differently. So guys, I want to remind you of that tidbit from one of those videos that said the quickest way for a woman to release an upset is for you to hear what she feels. For you to hear what she feels. When you hear what she feels, she can relax and let go. And all of a sudden your upset is winding down. And of course, conflict's going to happen. If we embrace it, it's going to move through. And then, no question, and I teach this in my programs, we've got to talk about every one of these parts, but sex and passion are essential to making it last. And I could talk for hours on that. But here, critical component, if we're talking about the system, we've got to work through the sexual things, our fears, our inhibitions, our tenderness, and come out. Believe me, I was non-orgasmic for years, and I still find my edges, but I'm committed. I know it's such an essential part, and it's so pleasurable when we do. And I know a lot of women can set this part aside, and our relationships thrive when we embrace that passion and sexuality together. And again, you're going to hear me say it over and over again, but if you want to stay happy and stay in love, you've simply got to learn how we're different in our DNA and our words so that we stay deeply connected and happy with each other. All right. This is the one we don't want to talk about. But not every relationship is going to work. They're not meant to. Sometimes it doesn't work. It's natural. It's part of the process. It's part of the system. It's actually, in reality, part of what makes it work, the whole thing work, is that we've got to end the ones that are not for us and do it consciously. And remember where I said we got to clear space so that there's that internal space for new love to blossom and open? We need a conscious endings ritual. And again, conscious conversation, ideally it's with both people, but it doesn't have to be. You're responsible for your love life. And if somebody else won't do a clearing, you need to. So that you're free to really open up to loving and being loved as you step forward. And if you don't do that, that's where the walls of protection have gotten erected and they stay in place, trying to make sure that you don't get hurt again. But unfortunately, that blocks the love. It blocks the hurt, but it blocks the love too. And if you're holding on in those walls of protection to beliefs that your past seems to justify, you're never going to see what you really want. Wayne Dyer says, used to say, I'll see it when I believe it. So you've got to look at what are all those beliefs. Remember I said earlier I had crazy beliefs about relationship. We got to clear that out. And then the pendulum. Oh my God, this guy never took me out, or she always criticized me. So we go look for somebody that's not going to do the things that hurt us in the last relationship, but the pendulum swung to the other side, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you know what? I keep meeting guys that aren't financially secure. But oh my God, they're passionate because I didn't have any passion in the last relationship. Or I keep meeting all these independent women because my last partner was so needy. But God, there's no real intimacy. So you got to eliminate the pendulum. And this is part of doing the cleanup, doing the releasing. And here I've said we're different, we're different, we're different. Or not so different. It's so funny when I do my intro events and I'll have somebody raise their hand and share. And it's often women. And they'll say, you know what? I had no idea that men had the same fears, the same insecurities, the same questions and fears when it came to love or sex or intimacy. And deep down, we want to be loved. We want to be met. We want to be understood. We want passion. And it's risky to be vulnerable for both of us. I read a great story about, I think Brene Brown actually was writing about the other day, the vulnerability of men in sex. And we don't imagine that. But they have their own things that go on. Guys, you do, we do. And so this is where we are so similar, even though we're wired so differently. So this is the system. It's simple and not so simple. And you've got to take it step by step. And if you're struggling in one stage, it's going to serve you to see what's out of sync in the other stages. Did I leave something out? Because again, they all work together. And it doesn't mean just because you're in the relating phase and you're checking it out that you can't work on the being you. Or, just because I listed flirting in the connecting stage, bringing it into the relating stage. or even in the making it up, or is it working? Like, all of these pieces go together. And am I being authentic? Am I bringing all the parts together? So when you really learn and master the key wisdom, practices, conversation tools that support each stage, and then you integrate them, you become that master relator, and you know exactly how to attract and build that relationship that lights up your world, that ignites the passion, and where real love unfolds naturally and deeply. And so in just a few minutes, I'm going to share those sought after and critical keys that make you absolutely attractive. I promised you 2 of them. And one of them, I've been mentioning this spark and chemistry thing all the way through. One of those things that makes you absolutely attracted is also highly correlated to that amount of spark and chemistry that you're going to have with the opposite sex. And then at that point, I'm also going to share with you the number one thing that you can do to increase the potential of a relationship lasting. But before we do that, now that you've looked at this enlightened dating and relating system in detail and what it takes to be that master of your love life, the master of relationships, and how to set them up for lasting success, lasting love, lasting passion, I want to invite you to imagine for a moment. And guys, you get to go first. Imagine that your mojo is working. It is on. You're confident. And now there's a woman by your side. She's smiling. She is hot. And you turn her on like nobody's business. Close your eyes. Can you feel her? Smell her? See her? Women, your turn. Imagine that you're relaxed, trusting, energized, happy. You walk into a room and people notice. You're glowing. Who's that, they say? And it has nothing to do with how you look and everything to do with who you are. Take yourself to that place, ladies. You are that. And you're met by a powerful man. And together you fall asleep with all the attention, affection, and intimacy you've ever wanted. Feel that. You can have that. You just have to follow this system. Include all the parts, take all the steps. So if you've thought at any time during this webinar, been there, done that, if you've felt enough pain and heartache, if you've failed at love before, if you've ended up in the friend zone, if you haven't had a date in 10 years, if while you've been watching and listening, if you've had the thought, ooh, I made that mistake, I messed that one up, oops, skip that step, you're not alone. And if you're ready to finally end that rinse, wash, and repeat cycle so that you can actually attract and build that relationship that you've always wanted, then I'd like to show you exactly how to do that, step by step, in detail. I want to invite you to experience a transformation, not only a transformation of your love life, but a true transformation of you. And you can begin this journey to finding your one right now. And it starts with the Enlightened Dating and Relating Academy, how to find your one and build a healthy, hot, and happy relationship, even if you've given up on love or you feel heartbreak. And I feel you if you do. This 4-month program will show you how to find and ignite a romance that allows you to start believing in happily ever after again. How to trust love and have the confidence to be that real, most attractive you and find your one this year. Men, in this academy, you'll find the masterful you. You'll know how to stand tall and strong, how to be confident and powerful, how to command attention, especially with women. You will know exactly what to do to win her heart and make her happy and make her body melt with pleasure. Women, you'll know how to bring out the magnetically attractive and innately beautiful you, no matter what your body looks like. Feeling confident, radiant, and energized so that you can walk into that room and turn the heads of men and feel safe doing it. And seriously enjoy all the love, intimacy, attention, and affection you've ever craved. Imagine attracting that partner and being best friends and passionate lovers and staying madly in love. So what's it look like? The Academy does everything I just said and more, and here's how we do it. It's going to teach you and explain every element of this enlightened dating and relating system, step by step in exact detail. You're not just going to learn it in your head. This is so critical. You're not going to learn it in your head, but you're going to get it in your body. And so there's two major components and then tons of supporting material and exercises. And the first component you see on the screen here right now, it's the Enlightened Lover training modules. They're live online webinars. And in these, that's where I share every detail, all the data, all the information. And then most importantly, you're going to work with the other men and the women in the group to put it into practice through paired exercises, through group work, to get it in your cells, get it in your body. And I'm not going to share everything with you about the Academy. You can click on, there's a button right below here, and it's going to take you to datingandrelatingacademy.com, and you can find every juicy detail you want about the Academy. But I want to give you the highlights here. So in these trainings, again, we'll break down the system into all the essential parts, and including the differences between men and women. And what's cool is the men are going to teach the women are going to teach the men, and you're going to learn from each other what it really takes, and you'll be validated and go, oh my God, I never got it before. So what I want you to know right up front is that there's no other program out there that gives you the invaluable opportunity, training, experience, and feedback that this one does. Listen to this. To be supported, honored, challenged, and gifted with genuine conscious feedback from the opposite sex, that's priceless. And this Academy requires an application and an interview to be accepted, so that when you join, you'll be part of a select, exclusive, committed community of great men and women who are on a journey to have that love, that passion, that partnership that's alive, happy, and hot. It'll give you everything you need to build and sustain that. So here are the other things, and again, you'll see these on the website. And to top it off, we're going to get intimate, and you're going to be joining me live and in person for 3 days of coaching, support, and feedback. During my 3-day live in-person intensive, the Enlightened Lover Weekend Retreat. And during this weekend, you're going to mingle and learn from the men and women who are also leaving the baggage behind and becoming ready to create that fiery, hot romance, while you personally transform your love life from top to bottom. Here's what you can expect from this unique, incredible weekend. On day 1, you're going to leave that baggage behind. We're going to use exercises, tools, processes to help you clear out the beliefs, the habits, the patterns, even the hurts and heartaches that have been blocking love for you. And we're going to end the day with a tantric puja, where together we're going to celebrate and heal and honor the divine masculine and the divine feminine within us and between us. And you're going to carry that freedom and that joy, not just into day 2, but into your whole life, where you're going to know you're different and where love will begin to feel good again. And then on day 2, oh my God, what a powerful day. You're going to completely get clear on the man that you are, the woman that you are. Literally, you're going to practice walking, talking, standing in your true nature. And along the way, you're going to get plenty of personalized feedback. And it's all about the energy. You're going to discover where it's working for you and where it's not. Find out where it's attractive and where it's repelling. And women, you're going to inspire the men to step into their presence, their mojo, their passion and confidence. And then men, you're going to help the women step into their grace, their radiance, their presence and confidence. And I want to tell you a personal story. Years ago, I was with a boyfriend, and when I was going through this transition for myself, and I'd had a coach who'd who'd worked with me on my voice, my walk, my presence. And in this particular case, her words around my voice came to mind. I was having an argument with my boyfriend, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to do what she told me to do. And so I finished what I was saying, I let him speak, and on the very next sentence, I shifted my voice into my feminine voice. And I'll never forget, he turned his head to me. I hadn't even finished a full sentence, and he's like, what in the hell did you just do? Because you are the most attractive you've been to me in months. And I was like, oh my God, this stuff works. He got it, and he didn't have a clue what I did, but it has a massive impact. And guys, the same thing goes for you. When he found his authentic masculine voice, oh my God, we were on the phone, and I pulled the phone away from my ear, and I'm looking at it, I'm going, okay, it says his name, it says his number, but this doesn't sound like him. I was totally confused. I was like, I think he's playing a joke on me with one of his friends, but he wasn't. It was him, it was real, and it was hot. So you're going to practice every element of being you so you get it in your cells, in your biology, and you can start living from it from that moment forward. And then finally on day 3, we're going to deep dive into the tools, the skills, the practices you need to create deep intimacy in relationship on every level. And plus, we're going to do a bonus introductory session on Tantra where you get to see what it looks like to bring sacred sexuality into your relationship. And this powerfully experiential and deeply transformative weekend will take place in Denver, near the airport. And I have to say that the value of this weekend alone is worth more than the entire investment in the whole program. And on top of that, everything that we've talked about so far, as soon as you're accepted into the Academy, you're going to receive these priceless bonuses as well. The Secrets of Greater Loving 4-part video series. It's filled with the tools and tips and suggestions to have more fun, more love, more sex. And this is information that you should have learned in sex ed, but you didn't get. And then you're going to get the Opening Your Heart to Love audio program, where it experientially guides you to heal past heartaches so that you can fully open your heart and soul to the love that's awaiting you now. And then you get the 6-part Passion and Love Barriers assessment, where you're going to find out where you fall on the passionate lover scale, from hot and happy on the one end to friendly and fizzled, or lonely and longing for love on the other end. What this Academy with the retreat and all the bonus means to you is that you get to transform loneliness, frustration, and heartache into a magical romance with a true partner where you build a life together that's filled with true love, deep intimacy, and great sex. And the truth is, I spent over $100,000 gathering this information to transform my relationships, to awaken the passion and love in me. And my clients, my one-on-one clients, they spend many thousands of dollars to gain access to me and get this kind of radical transformation in their love life. But you won't pay nearly that much, not even close. The value of this program is over $8,000, and it won't cost you anywhere near that. I'm offering this program with the live event and all the juicy bonuses to you for only $27.97. Yes, you heard that right. It's only $27.97. And because I know that love is worth trusting, because I know you don't have to settle. You can have a relationship that's filled with love and passion and partnership. Because I know you can step into your sexy, confident, and absolutely attractive self and attract your one. And to sweeten the deal, because I know these things and because I want this to be so reasonable for you that you have no excuse not to jump in. If you take swift action and apply before Sunday, January 31st, this Sunday, I'm offering the deal of a lifetime with a 12-payment option. And that means you only pay $249 a month. I am absolutely so confident that my Enlightened Dating and Relating Academy will deliver the huge results that you want. I extend to you my no complications promise guarantee. When you participate actively in the first 2 training sessions, and if after that you don't feel like it's totally exceeding your expectations, then I'll refund your investment in full with no questions asked. And you keep all the bonuses as my gift to you. I'm that committed. I'm giving you this guarantee because I've seen what happens for people who work with me. I've seen them go from giving up and hurt and scared to happily in love. And I know I did. You get scared when it comes to investing in love. Will it work for me? Can I do it? Is it too late? Do I have what it takes? All those stories that we ask. And I want this to be absolutely risk-free for you. I want you to be able to completely relax. Remember that the members of the Academy will be a select handful of men and women who are ready to build a healthy, hot, and happy relationship that lasts. Because this is such a deep program with such radical personal transformation, I want to ensure that each and every member of the Academy is a great fit, which means that members are accepted by application and interview only. So I require you to fill out a no obligation application and have a 15 to 30 minute interview with me while we're on the phone together. I'm going to get to know you and you're going to get to know me. You can ask all of your questions. And honestly, I'm also going to be evaluating you for your own benefit and for the sake of the whole group to ensure that you have the level of commitment and a great dynamic for both you and the group. So rest assured that we won't move forward unless both of us agree that it's a great fit for you. So let me say that again. There's no cost to submit your application and no obligation to join if you're accepted. So here are the steps. Click the button below and go to datingandrelatingacademy.com and fill out your application and click submit. And then it's going to take you right to my calendar where you schedule your interview. And I've got 2 slots tonight. For those of you that are most excited and ready to get started, it's available. And then be sure that at the time of your interview, you call me so that we can talk. And then if we decide together that it's a great fit for you, then do the happy dance and celebrate, because your application tonight reignites the spark of true love in your life. So there's no risk in applying. There's only opportunity. Opportunity for true love that lasts. And I want to mention this again. This is an exclusive program. That means I'm not accepting everyone. It means that there are limited spaces, and some of them are already filled. And with my generous 12-pay option of just $249 a month, and remember, that's only good through this Sunday the 31st at midnight, I know that I'm going to get a flood of applications in the next few days. But that's not the only reason for you to fill out your application right now. If you are truly ready to ditch loneliness, frustration, and heartbreak for good, if you're ready to truly have a committed partnership where you're best friends and passionate lovers, where you share heartfelt moments of joy, and you know that love, your love, can last through the ups and downs of life forever, then there's no time like the present. Put in your no obligation application right now, because I believe that since you're here listening to me, then you have what it takes to finish with single life for good and create a relationship with a partner where the two of you together keep falling in love over and over, deeper and deeper, year after year. So if you're not applying right now, let's go back to those 2 keys that I promised you a little bit ago. We're talking about those 2 keys to being absolutely attractive to the opposite sex. And it's really quite simple, but most of us don't do it. And believe me, I didn't do it in the beginning. And we've been talking about this all the way through. Be real. We don't fall in love with someone's greatness. Nobody's going to fall in love with you for all of your accomplishments. we fall in love with humanness. We fall in love with the real, beautiful, messy you. Seriously. When someone's trying to be perfect around you, how attractive are they really? Stop trying to get it right. Stop trying to be what you think they want you to be and be you. Then you'll attract love. Real love. Be you. Okay, back to be attractive and powerful. These are the two things that make you irresistible. So attractive and powerful. This is actually the entire focus of the first training module in the Academy. It's all about your sexual essence. And this is the one that's about keeping that spark sizzling, keeping the spice hot over the long term. So let's dive a little deeper into both of these. Key number 1, being real. I love this quote because we spend so darn much energy trying to be the right one, trying to do the right things to make them attracted to us. And it never really works. When we're trying to create connection, we actually create separation. And so I love this quote. There is nothing more beautiful, read attractive, than seeing a person being themselves. Imagine going through your day being unapologetically you. Wouldn't that be great? Here's the other thing. Have you ever wondered why the ones that you're least attracted to are most attracted to you? Because since you're not attracted to them, you're being real. You're not trying to be someone. And that's sexy. So, please start being you. Now, sexual essence. Masculine, feminine. And again, this is the entire first module of the Academy, but let's give you this in a nutshell. This is what, when I said early on, I discovered what was making me successful and what was making me miserable was exactly the same thing. I am a very feminine woman and I had no idea. If you'd asked me 15 years ago, I would have said my sexual energy, my predominant energy is absolutely masculine. And here's the thing, masculine energy are like two magnets. And when you put the two opposite ends of a magnet together, they come together and they stick. And it actually takes a little bit of force to pull them apart. But if I flip one of those magnets and I try to put the two positive ends together or the two negative ends, they repel. Not only do they repel, but you've watched them on the table. It's fun. But how quickly they'll flip away from each other. And so I was like, where are all the strong men? Oh my God, they never had a chance. Because I was being so strong, they couldn't possibly be as strong as I was. And so this is the key. This is the key to creating spark and chemistry. And the women's movement, there's been so much conditioning. This is where nice guys, this is absolutely where nice guys get in trouble. This is where strong women sabotage themselves. So you want to discover, and I take you through a series of questions. It's really simple, even if you're not living it, because I wasn't living from it. I was totally disconnected from it. But a simple set of questions will help you get underneath and find the truth about what your authentic sexual essence is. And there's another part of this that I want you to consider, and it's this idea of equality and independence. It plays right into this energetic dynamic of the masculine and feminine, the magnetism, the spark. And aren't we supposed to be equal and independent? Yes and no. It's actually that independence builds barriers and equality kills passion. The truth is what creates the spark is the interdependence, the complementary nature of the masculine and feminine. And together, we make magic. Together, we create that spark. Together, we ignite the heat of passion. And so if you've been trained like I was, it's all about equal and independent, and I can't show weakness, and I got to be strong. This is sabotaging. Or guys, if you've thought, if she wants to take the lead, I'll let her. Oh my God, this gets you into so much trouble because now she's pissed off because you're not making the plans. But that's what she told you she wanted. So this is where the push-pull, the confusion comes in. Because guys, you're trying to do it right. So we've got to learn how to communicate and express this with each other to reawaken. I like to say where men get to genuinely be the men that they are. Women get to genuinely be the women that they are outside of all of our conditioning. And extraordinarily know that it's time to let men be our heroes again. Guys, it's time for you to know how to make a woman happy and actually succeed. So, those are the two most important keys to being absolutely attractive. Know your sexual essence and live it, and be real. And then the last key point, the number one way to increase the potential of a relationship to last, and you see all 5 boxes of the system here. What I'm about to tell you relates to every single box. It relates to the first moment you see each other and all the way through to whatever completes that relationship. And it is tell the truth. We hide the truth because we don't want to hurt somebody's feelings or because they might not like it or they might leave. And it destroys trust. It destroys intimacy. If you want to increase the potential for your next relationship to last or the one that you're in, then start telling the truth from this moment forward. And when we do that conscious beginnings ritual, this is one of the things that I invite every single couple to explore. So let me say it again. Tell the truth, and you will dramatically increase the potential of your relationship to last. And last full of love and happiness. So with that, this system works. You can have love that lasts and passion that stays hot. You just have to know how. You have to be courageous enough to take the steps. And it starts with being you. Through and through you, the masterful man, the extraordinary woman that you are. And then you can trust love again. You can trust men, and you can trust women. You can have happily ever after. You can meet your one and build a truly connected partnership filled with heartfelt moments of joy and hours of heated passion. And know that love can last forever. So if you're done with the mistakes, done with the loneliness, done with the friend zone, then again, I'd like to remind you exactly how you can do that, step by step, in detail, starting now. Plain and simple, in the Enlightened Dating and Relating Academy, I want to give you the wisdom and skills in your body, in your cells, to be successful at love, to meet your one, to fall in love and stay in love. Click the link below for all the juicy details, the testimonials, and to apply. And remember, these are the steps to take right now. And because of the depth of this work, like I said, and the radical personal transformation, it's application and interview only. So click on the button, fill out your application. It's no obligation. Click submit, schedule your interview. The truth is, you can't even put down a deposit yet because I want to ensure that you're absolutely a great fit. So you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. You can have your one, your happily ever after. And you will not find another program anywhere that is this comprehensive, this radically personally transformative. Nowhere else will a select group of conscious men and women come together to support each other and offer unheard of and priceless feedback on the energy of attraction and love. Nowhere else will anyone bring together such a complete and detailed system for the entire cycle of dating and relating. The time is now. Like I said, I'm even holding those 2 interview spots for tonight, if they're even left at this point. So act now. The spaces in this intimate program are limited and several are already taken. Make sure you get yours. And remember, there's absolutely no risk. You've got my no complications promise guarantee. So claim your journey to your one now. Thank you for joining me. It's such an honor to serve you. And if you have any questions, please email me at joanna@thepathofintimacy.com. I wish you many blessings and immense love.